I think they just have to have the same approach that they did in the heats and go all the way to the final if it's possible.
David, how excited were you? I know you're big on the track and field events. How excited were you to see those performances from our boys in Paris last night?
Yeah, they performed really well, and Qatarisa even they almost looked up to like my sprinters and Engar Masad Mavu. Put speed. I think they can be much faster than that as long as they concentrate more on what they want to achieve at the Olympics.
All right, yeah, so all this and more coming up on the Choose to Be Awesome, a Tuesday edition of the Daily Sports Zone.
Have your say on the Daily Sports Zone on Star FM. WhatsApp 0772 162 651.
Sports. This is football.
Football! I think we have a winner.
Loser. The news is our life. Did you hear what the weatherman said?
Ready? It's the complete radio sports show. The Daily Sports Zone is on right now. It's the Daily Sports Zone, going deeper into the top sports stories on Star FM.
The Daily Sports Zone every weekday, 6:05 down to 6:30. It is the Choose to Be Awesome, a Tuesday edition. It's day 11 of the Olympic Games in Paris. No Zimbabweans in action today, but we're still high of the performance of our sprinters yesterday. Among them, Zimbabwean sprinter Tapiwanashe Makarau, who's excited to be putting Zimbabwe on the map in sprints after he qualified for tomorrow's men's 200-meter semi-final along with fellow sprinter Magaya Charamba. So Charamba will race in Heat 2 of the semi-final tomorrow. He'll be racing alongside some big names. Noah Lyles, he won with the 100 meters gold medal at this year's Games. Letsile Tebogo from Botswana, one of the exciting talents there. For Makarau as well, it's not going to be easy for him. He's in Heat 3 much later on. Arian Knighton from the States, he'll be there. Wade Van Niekerk from across the Limpopo. Some big names, it's we're getting to the business end. So what's going to happen tomorrow in those semi-finals? The top two from each of those three heats, they automatically qualify for the final, and then the two fastest from across the three heats will then progress to the finals as well. So let's hear from Makarau, who was speaking to Elina Mkanga, who's in Paris for Zimpaper's Sports Hub.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, because as Zimbabwe is a country, we're improving in terms of sprints. For the last past years, we just had like guys from swimming, guys from marathon, But now I'm really excited. For me and Charamba, we're improving our times. We are putting Zimbabwe out there in terms of sprints, So I'm really excited. Even if we have like a 4x100 as a country, it's going to be a real threat to the world. Nothing much to prepare. The work is already done. I'm just going to relax, talk to my coach. He'll tell me some tricks and ways how to run the semis. He got experience. He was there at the Olympics before me, so he will know what to do for me to adjust and how we can get to the finals. Yeah, I'm excited for the both of us. We were training together in Germany, and we were telling each other that we're gonna just go out there and have fun with the other guys. We had a long season, both of us. 8 months running is not easy. But today, we're putting out there, we're showing the world that we're capable of doing anything, and God is capable of doing anything.
And boy, did they make us proud last night. Obviously, the job far from done. And Simba, we were talking about just watching those heats yesterday. Especially for me, I was quietly impressed by Makarau, especially with his finish. It looked click into a fourth or fifth gear, but he's gonna have to probably get into that fifth gear, get closer to his personal best of 19.93, because you look at the people that will be racing alongside, Wade Van Niekerk, I think Rio Games broke the 400-meter world record, so he's been coming back from injury, but it seems like he's getting back to his best. Arian Knighton as well from the States will be a big name. Makanaka Charamba started slowly, finished strong, but those names, Letsile Tebogo from Botswana and Noah Lyles, it's not going to be easy for our boys, is it?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it is also a stage, a first time for everything. This is the stage to make their names because, you're talking about all other names because they're also able to make the names for themselves. So this is a platform for them to do the same thing. Of course, it's going to be really difficult, because they are now left with the best of the best in the 200 meters. But again, there's nothing to do. You can't back off. You just have to face, the bull by its horns and grab it. And this is what they have to do tomorrow. When they get into the race, you have to make sure you believe in yourself. Yes, you might be besides Noah, you might be beside Teboko, but then at the end of the day, you have to deliver. No two ways about it.
David, your expectations, obviously, you did hint that, they both could probably go a little faster. 19.95, I think that's Makanaka Ishe's personal best. 19.93 is Makarau's personal best. Would that be good enough tomorrow to finish in the top two with those big names, or even make the two fastest runners-ups, if we can call them that?
Yeah, they need to better their personal best, times, and if you want those guys could even give shake up a level. Those big guys, they've done it before, so it's their time, now to move. Then the youngsters are coming up, and that's what happens, especially when you look at the athletes most of the time, especially those faster athletes, 100, 200 meters. They really need to better their personal best so that they can, improve. If you want to improve, you need to beat your personal best. So that's what they should do.
David, I want to come back to you because unfortunately, with Simba and me in the studio, you're the only one who's played sport at a professional level. And I want to sort of like get a peek into the mind of an athlete, professional athlete, when you come across or you compete against somebody that is better than you. Like, how do you get yourself? Are you overwhelmed by that fear of saying, all right, this person is better than me? Are you challenged to say, what, let me try and see how close I can get to that? But maybe just try and give us some insights. I know football and athletics are different, but
zvinotangira pakutongoziva kuti I'm going to compete with the best, and then you get motivated nazvo. It's like when you're playing a derby, you don't need the coach to motivate you. You have to motivate yourself. So that's what happens, especially when you're a top athlete. If you want to be at the top, you get motivated, especially with your manual side naye, because very well kuti he is a great, and Saga, you want to beat him and or get closer to him. But if you beat him, that's a bonus.
The amateur athletics fan in me, like, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, Simba, obviously maybe you look at Noah Lyles and the other names, Wade Van Niekerk, Arian Knighton, Letsilo Tobogo. Like, I'm thinking, it might actually work to your advantage if you can stay close to them in case you don't finish in the top two. Your time might actually end up being quicker. But I don't know, like, maybe I'm just being too optimistic.
Yeah, of course, but I also believe that it's a chance that you'll be telling yourself in your mind that this is the day for me to make the headlines. If you're closer to him, like what Tapio was saying, that he was looking at the guy who was next to him, when he was running the hits, and this is the same thing that they can also do in the semifinals. And I think, for them, without so much pressure, you just kind of do like you're dreaming and live the dream.
And living the dream they are, and we're backing them. A lot of messages coming through. Congratulations to our speed merchants, Makanaka Ishe Charamba and Tapio Nashe Makarau, on their superb performance in their respective heats to reach the semi-finals. The duo have done us proud, and well done, Team Zimbabwe. Best wishes in tomorrow's semi-finals. Stay focused, keep up the momentum, and let God do the rest. That's Chris Romario Musekiwa there. All the best to Makarau and Charamba in the semis. That's Takudzwa Morenje in Durban, South Africa. So lots of congratulatory messages coming through, and lots of excitement, and we're backing the boys ahead of tomorrow's semi-finals. Still with the Olympic Games, we do have some action today. We had action earlier today in the basketball quarterfinals. Serbia there beating Australia 95-90. That was in the quarterfinals, so they're through to the semis, along with Germany, who beat Greece Greece 76 to 63. Later, the favorites are the USA, the Dream Team, will take on Brazil, and France actually taking on Canada right now in the other quarter final. Some of the track and field highlights include the men's long jump final. That's at 8:15 tonight. The men's 1,500 meters. That's at 10 minutes to 9. And for me, David, the women's 200-meter final. That's going to be exciting. Gabby Thompson, Asher Smith. Who's your money on?
Dean Asher Smith, she has been there for a long time, and I still feel Kuti, she hasn't lived, to the expectations, especially of the British fans. So, if she is to be the Olympic champion, she needs to be at least.
Did you watch the semis yesterday? Because
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The final is totally different.
Look, way too comfortable in that semi. Yeah. No, I'm just asking you.
I'm just talking about Dina Asher Smith.
Do you have a crush on her?
I've watched her, for years now.
Yeah.
For years, and to me, I said, because
so you want it for the story of
if you watch her in the Diamond League, sometimes she'll be at her best, but when it comes to World Championships, Olympics, I'm menos ajuneta. So I think if she doesn't win it this time, it's over for her. She will not get it.
So it's a sentimental vote for you, like, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Simba, which events are you looking forward to? Would you have the men's long jump, men's 1,500 meters, women's 200 meters? Any specific events, or even the women's football? I know right now we've got the USA taking on Germany, and then at 9 p.m. we've got Brazil taking on Spain. That looks like on paper like a mouth-watering tie.
Yeah, but if you look at football, I think it's kind of obvious that you'd find Spain in there, Brazil in there. But I think, like what David was speaking about, athletics, I think would really like to watch, athletics more than football, because, for football, I think this have been, the kind of perennial campaigners when you look at, these tournaments, major tournaments, and you'll be rest assured that you'd find them from the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final.
Yeah, so exciting matchups there. So you can tune into Breakfast Sports 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30 with ET. I'll give you all the results from those track and field events, as well as the basketball and the football. Let's come back to our own beautiful game here. A lot of drama happening. Genesis Mangombe has landed a new job at Northern Region Division 1 side Scotland FC. This is less than 24 hours after resigning from Dynamos. So Mangombe resigned from Dembare last night. The club confirming his departure. I think I first saw it around midnight. I think that's when it was released. Today, Mangombe unveiled by Scotland also gave him a new SUV as part of his package. So Scotland are playing in that Northern Region Division 1. They're owned by businessman and Mavuku MP Scott Sakupwanya, and they're currently 4th in Division 1 and amongst the contenders for promotion to the Premier Soccer League. There are 4 points behind the log leaders, who are Moors. Black Rhinos are 2nd, Harare City 3rd, and Scotland there 4th. Mangombe's first game in charge will be against Zambezi GNC, and that'll be at the Hart Stadium this Friday. We didn't even get to discuss this. His departure from Dembare now seems like an afterthought. David is landed in Scotland.
Yeah, for me, it's more like Mr. Tich. I just want to be blunt a bit. Kuti, we are short
you
of
have the
coaches.
mic.
Yeah, we are short of coaches in Zimbabwe. So any coach now wakangodzinga basa nasi mangwana anenge atopa nerimwe ana time ekuzora.
But kwangune munhu ku Scotland.
Yeah, but anga ariko but ana mapepa akakwana munhu wacho. So at the end of the day unongosvika usikupiwa mumwe munhu pamusoro pako. But we don't know kuti ivo ku Scotland kwacho Genesis ari kuenda ari head coach here or he's a technical advisor, but kwatiri susu tinongodzwa ndiye head coach, but anogona ngari technical advisor, because there was Wellington Shangiwa as well, but we don't know kuti role yake ndechi.
Okay.
Yeah, because akatorwa kubva ku Norton community achiunzwa ku Scotland, so his role exactly I don't know.
So I know you've been following the story. I mean, I thought when I was coming in, getting ready to produce the show, I thought we'd be talking about whether he resigned or was fired at Dynamos. Now, he's a lucky man. But
Yeah, I think, the story of Genesis Mangombe and Dynamos has been playing for a long time, with even before the departure of the previous Treasurer General, and there was talk that they were pushing for a foreign coach to come and take over Dynamos. So from then, Scotland have always been waiting on the wings to pounce on him. And when they knew that he was going, and I think also himself also notified them that after that draw against Blower Chief that he was going, and they quickly pounced and gave him a contract, and there he is. But that is what it is all about in coaching. Today you get fired, but you become attractive to another suitor, and then you go there and you get a job, and it doesn't mean that when you're fired, then that's the end of everything. So, but I don't know, like what David was saying, the technical setup there is coming in as the head coach, and William Nyasulu was the head coach, now drops to become the assistant coach. There is Wellington Manimega Shankiwa, is the technical director, and then also in the mix there's William Gay, also in the part of the advisors
It's
in
all,
there.
It's all happening in Scotland. I know. I sports team Genesis Mangombe aendera mota kudibara hapana chailuma ku Scotland kune huchi, it's lavender and shit and all. I'm pretty sure he had a car at Dynamos.
And also good salary there.
Yeah.
And the Dynamos here ora manje iri kuenda ku Division 1 as Daisy in UMP. They're sixth on the log, so I mean far from.
I think this whole thing favored Genesis in such a way that it managed to cover him out of the shame of being forced out or being fired.
So he had a soft landing.
Yeah, he had a soft landing because yes, of course, the wording from the Dynamo statement was that he resigned. But you can resign with a gun on your head, and then it's more or less like being fired. But then for him,
being fired with no bullets.
Yes, but then for him now, it panned out like he was somebody who was really on demand. After leaving Dynamos, you get another job. But I think for Dynamos, they'd also made other plans that life should continue without Genesis Mangombe in there, and Scotland were waiting.
No, and the high sports team Mangombe andione aine problem. There's a good coach. Team yangu Dembare ndio ine problem. Kelvin Mukanya Padema. David, just quickly before we just wrap up, there had been some sections of football fans who said, Genesis Mangombe didn't have the stature or the pedigree to be coaching a team like Dynamos. Do you think maybe Scotland will be a better fit? Because you suggested now it's from one pressure cooker to another. How do you compare Dynamos with Scotland? Is that even on the same level?
They might not be on the same level, especially in terms of Kuti Dynamos and what has Dynamos achieved. But for Scotland, I think they're ambitious. They want to be in the Premier League next year. So there is a lot of pressure now. And he has to win games until end of season. And each game as it comes, of course, as a coach, you would be planning, I need to win. So obviously, the Scotland bosses, they want their team to win week in, week out. Because where they are believing. Because next year, it's up in the Premier League. If you look at the players that they've brought in, I think they've brought in a lot of experience to help them push, could up in the Premier League. If they wanted just to play in Division 1, they wouldn't be, spending the way they are spending at the moment. So, yeah, I think, there's pressure also.
So Chibuku Super Cup gets underway tomorrow in Rishawane. 2 preliminary round ties, a double header at Mandawa Stadium in Rishawane. Town 1 take on Arnold Movers at midday, and then Chikudu Pirates up against Wangeri. That's in the 3 p.m. kick-off. And just quickly, one final one. ZIFA have taken down the social media post containing a press statement released yesterday in which they had claimed that Hart Stadium had failed a preliminary inspection to allow it to host CAF matches. The posts, which were on the ZIFA X handle and the ZIFA Facebook page, were taken down today after the owners of Hart Stadium, through their lawyers, had demanded a retraction of the statement by the ZIFA Normalization Committee, claiming it was false and that no such inspection ever took place. Simba, quickly, as before we shut down, what's happening here? What's the cheating? What do we think now? Does it mean that Hart Stadium is good to go, that they've taken this post down?
I think we're just flexing muscles. We are building up to the election season, or we are already in the election fever season, and a lot will be happening behind the scenes. But I don't really know, why ZIFA had to pull it down. Would also wonder to hear from them.
They were sent a demand to retract the statement.
When they issued their statement also, is it that because also there's some things that they wrote that were not true would also really want to hear from them, or they don't want, to be kind of seen to be really fighting with the owners of Hart Stadium. But I think, when you look at it, but from my own perspective, when I look at it, I think it's one of those stadiums that I really like going to, because, from the gates going in there are no hassles. In terms of hospitality, everything is okay. The playing surface is okay. But when you look at some of the things that are highlighted in there, like the media tribune, that's supposed to be in there, I think they have to look at it without looking at who is saying it. Because if you look at FC Platinum, that was one of the reasons why they failed to host CAF matches there, because CAF were insisting on having a media tribune that was supposed to meet their required standards. So I think some of those things we just have to look at them, or they should have had people who assisted them in doing, the stadium construction, putting in place some of the recommendations that are needed by CAF and FIFA.
All right, that's a wrap off the Daily Sports. So now for this Choose to be Awesome Tuesday, just an update from the Olympic Games and the women's football semi-finals are still goalless between the USA and Germany. Later on, the action that we have coming through, we've got Brazil taking on Spain in the other semi-final. That's at 9 p.m. And track and field events, men's long jump final, 8:15, men's 1,500 meters, that's at 10 minutes to 9, and the one I'm looking forward to, that's the women's 200 meter final, that is on at 9:40. But that's a wrap of the Daily Sports Zone on this Choose to be Awesome Tuesday.